Fatima is tired of having sex with Zac. Nathan refuses to give up an apology. And Deja is still on that bull. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Zatima video because we back, baby. Season 2 just premiered on BET Plus. We're getting 2 new episodes every Thursday with such a quick turnaround from season 1, but I'm not complaining. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my Zatima coverage and conversations. Okay, give this video a like because I think that you're gonna like it, and in it we are going to break down, as I mentioned, episode number 1 titled Basic Instinct. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all, so the big the big thing about this episode is how much sex Zac wants. There's a couple of other plot points of storylines that are continuing or new storylines that are developing, but the major thing that we are really focused on in this episode is how much sex Zac wants and how much Fatima wants him to chill the hell out. Now we wind up ending the episode off with her talking about she wants him to have a side chick, and if you watch the trailers and the previews and the teasers, we know that it's not actually a woman side chick, but it's a sex toy titled side chick, which is basically just a blow up doll. So we get left with that little cliffhanger by the end, but not to fear, not to worry. Fatima did not just put people head through mirrors, act the monkey fool, and do this, that, and the third, and or stalking. She not really stalking, but like, y'all know how like lions stalk their prey because they about to eat them. That's what she was giving when she was coming back, spinning the block in her car while Deja sat on the end of that ambulance. It was definitely given very much so animalistic stalking, and the title of the episode was Basic Instinct, child. So hey, it matches up, right? We are not gonna have to worry about her okaying a side chick after she is losing her dang on mind and getting very confrontational as Deja continues to flirt and throw herself at Zac. That is not gonna happen. Fatima is not of that polyamory life. She is not of that sharing her man, because that is my man, and we don't blame her. So that's what she's talking about. That's what happens by the end of the episode. But at the top of the episode, we open up with them having sex in the shower, and Fatima is not looking like she's enjoying it. It's looking like, I want to get this over with. I need to get this over with now. Because she also, once he finishes, tells him like, yo, we need to talk. It's a little bit too much. It's a lot going on. And Zac is really not trying to hear it. And they also make reference to like her, you know, whenever she wants to talk, he has to talk and or he has to listen. But when she wants to, when he wants to talk about something, then she gets the process. And my biggest takeaway from that was, Zac, if you would actually process things, she would give you space and time to do so. But like she said in response to you, you don't have no patience, you don't like the wait, and you definitely don't like the process. So why are we going to leave a bunch of dead space and time when I bring something to your attention just for you to sit on it or just to avoid it, when I actually process? I journal, I pray, I do all of these things. You run. That's the point blank period of it all. Like, let's keep it a buck. So that whole little initial conversation around potentially like her alluding to at the top of the episode, oh, it's too much sex, turns into a conversation about other stuff and a couple of other problems that they have been having. And basically it just looks like Zac starts to deflect. And it's not until they come down into the living room and she's like, yo, has anybody else ever told you that this was a problem? Has anybody else ever voiced concern? Any of the other girls before me ever voiced concern about how much sex you want, because it's a lot? And he's like, no, I don't have a problem. Nobody's ever did it. And I'm like, okay, because I doubt it. But what I will also say is I would love for this to work in reference to storylines. I feel like the too much sex could really work as a storyline. However, Tyler Perry didn't plant any seeds of it beforehand. So now it kind of feels like it's coming out of nowhere. Like, we get the context and the dialogue from them where she's like, you had a 103 fever last week and you were still trying to get it in. But also I'm trying to register the time, because Tyler Perry doesn't do a good job of tracking time within any of the shows. We don't know what last week would have been. In all honesty, I feel like last week would have been during the time of season 1. And for me, in watching the entire episode, Deja mentioned just yesterday Fatima put her hands on him. Nathaniel was not apologizing about, Fatima getting buck with him and then, bringing in Lori and all that, and her doing it recently. So that wasn't a week ago. And then Bryce talks about, oh, y'all canceled dinner. You invited us to dinner and then you canceled it. It didn't have anything to do with me trying to kiss you, which also was very, very recent. So it feels like the episode 1 from season 2 is picking up within like 48, 72 hours, maybe, right, of the season finale of season 1. And if that's the case, season 1 took place over the course of, I believe, a week, between 4 days and maybe 6 days, and we didn't see them banging like rabbits. Like we got a good head scene, and we got a couple of little moments, but it was mostly tension. They had not been having a bunch of sex. So I feel like the storyline around him being potentially a sex addict is not necessarily as strong as it could be if that's where he was trying to go. And honestly, when I'm thinking about it, I feel like we're not actually going down the route of him being a sex addict. I feel like sex might be Zac's coping mechanism, because he rushes towards the end of the episode. When Fatima comes in, he don't offer her nothing to drink. He don't take her shoes off like we've seen him do before. We don't see him give her like no hug for real. She sits down on the couch and he like, what are you doing? Get up. Let's go upstairs so we can get it in. And we know that this comes after he has had the run in with Jeremiah at the barbershop, had to get on the phone with his mama, tell Jeremiah he was going to go see his mama, and he don't want to do it, have part of an uncomfortable conversation with Bryce, and then decided it's the best idea for them to dissolve their partnership. So all of these things are happening, and it could feel like he's immediately like waiting for her. He tells her when she comes in, I've been waiting for you all day. It feels like he's telling her that because he's going to use sex to get out his frustration, to get out all the anxiety that he might be feeling, and to basically run from his emotions and maybe a little bit of anger. And I think that might be more in line in reference to what's the reason behind it. But this is just the first episode, so we have no idea where the sex storyline is going. However, it is one of the prime things that was presented. Now, going back to the whole Bryce situation, Zac shows up to the office and he's trying to sneak into his office and avoid Bryce. However, Bryce seemingly was waiting the entire time for him to show up and catches Zac before he can actually get into his office, and basically wants to force the issue about them actually talking, because Zac is like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't care. Whatever. And Bryce is like, look, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. And I thought that this conversation was very interesting, only because it's like, we got to see in the season finale of season 5 of Sisters, Fatima played a prank on Zac in reference to her having a baby father, just so that she could show him what it feels like from her point of view with all of his baby mama drama, right? This moment for me, and I think it's because I just saw that, felt like, okay, now you're getting a taste of what it's like to be a woman, because he started saying certain things and I was just like, this is how we be feeling with certain things. Like, Zac tells Bryce, like, you could have just told me. Why didn't you tell me we're friends? And he's like, Bryce responds, you would not have accepted me. I couldn't have actually told you. And he's like, yes, I would have. Zac responds, yes, I would have. I don't really care who you sleep with. Like, you could have literally been honest with me. And then he goes on to say, now I have to question your motives of everything previously and moving forward. And it's like, this is exactly what women have to go through when we're in friendships with men who ultimately just want to sleep with us or ultimately just want something from us. And I think it was just like so interesting and borderline dope how Zac is being thrown into yet another situation where he has to understand something that he potentially has inflicted upon others. Now, we ain't gonna talk about that in specific in reference to this with Fatima, because I do think that their relationship developed naturally, even though it was very, very quick. However, with the amount of women that Zac has smashed, with the amount of experience Zac has romantically and sexually, I definitely know that there has been women that he's pursued under the false pretense of like, I really just want to sleep with you. However, I'm going to be your friend and play the background. And it's like, yeah, now you get to know how it feels. Now, what I also thought was interesting, and I'm going to tie this back to Sisters, the season finale as well, is that in that episode, we got to see Zac go and apologize for, well, we don't know what he apologized for actually, because he doesn't say, I apologize for. He just says, I'm sorry, I apologize. When everybody needs to know, and if you listening, you need to know, if you apologizing to somebody, tell them what you are apologizing for so that they know and understand exactly why you are remorseful, that you know what you did wrong, and how they know that you will never let it happen again. Okay? But he didn't do that to Karen. However, I thought it was interesting that Bryce is coming to him and is apologizing for being inappropriate, apologizing for kissing him, apologizing for making him feel this way, like listening to all of what Zac's response, even though he said he didn't want to talk about it, and apologizing and owning it, and Zac can't get over it, can't let it go. Meanwhile, he goes and he just tells Karen, I apologize, and he pissed with her because she has no words for him. He's pissed with her because now she's playing Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde when you came into a restaurant and completely turned it upside down, put your hands on her, and then fought her boyfriend. And now it's okay for you to just go and apologize and all can be forgiven, but Bryce can't be forgiven? Y'all can't push forward? Y'all can't keep the plans that you once had in reference to this business that y'all are actually working on and trying to grow? Interesting. This is going ahead and be example number 3 of how Zac is being put into situations so that he can feel exactly what has been inflicted upon him, and now he needs to learn and grow and make a better decision. But in this case, he doesn't make the decision that he actually expects somebody else to make for him, because it's okay for Karen to forgive you just because you said I'm sorry, but it's not okay for you to forgive Bryce. Make it make sense, Zachary, because it don't. Now, y'all, since we talking about apologies, I have to talk about Nathan and the apology that he refuses to give to Zac, even though he pops up at the barbershop while Zac is there. Clearly, you timed that out and you did that on purpose. It's giving very much so Belinda energy, except for in reverse, because she was planning to go and try to sleep with Zac while Fatima was at the hair salon, and you was planning to just ambush Zac and be in his presence and hope that y'all can get back to kikiing and cutting up and act like nothing ever even happened. Or maybe even try to hustle out an apology from him about his girl. But boy, go to hell, because Zac does not owe Nathan an apology on Fatima's behalf. Nathan, you had Deja in Zac's hot tub. Y'all's having sex, smoking weed, doing a bunch of things that y'all had no business doing in somebody else's house. BFFR. Because you're completely not for real right now. And I get it, Tony, you giving the peacemaker of the bunch, but there still needs to be more holding of accountable of Nathan. How he talks about his situation, his relationship. I don't understand how Zac is not technically in this episode friends or talking to Nathan because he's pissed about it, but it's still given very much so they are friends. I don't know how Tony or Zac is still friends with a person like Nathan, because his energy is completely horrible, low vibrational at best, and keeping people like that around you brings you down as well. He don't speak highly about his job. He don't speak highly about his wife. He don't speak highly about his kids. He don't even speak highly about his damn self. So why are we actually friends with him? What are we actually doing? What could we possibly expect from him that would be positive, when each and everything that comes out of his mouth, comes out of his brain, comes out of his eyes, and comes out of his heart is negative? And the audacity to not apologize to Zac is beyond me. But I think that he also makes that decision because in their relationship, or what it seems like their relationship has been up until now, is that he hasn't ever had to. He gets to be the cruddy dude. He gets to be the lackluster friend. And Zac never walks away or never creates boundaries or distance because they have known each other for a while. And if you watch my live that I did with Hustle Queen Lee, hey Alicia girl, you would know that history ain't worth all that y'all want to make it out to be worth. And sometimes it's time to snip with the friends that got historical reference, because who they were versus and who you were when y'all first became friends might be completely different than who y'all are now. And if who y'all are now no longer services the progression of either one of you, the friendship needs to be reconsidered. And Zachary, you need to cut ties. What's interesting to me is that Zac has kept Nathan around, and even though he's not speaking to him in this barbershop scene, he's still kind of speaking to him and like, we'll be friends in a few, but I'm still hot, I'm still heated, so don't talk to me right now. But he had no problems cutting off his brother, has no problems cutting off his mother. And when I think about it, I guess maybe that will be another reason that would keep him in a toxic friendship. If he feels like he has no family to go to, especially like an older brother, then it would make him a little bit too codependent upon other male friends. Okay, I just figured out why he keeps Nathan around. Fine. But Zac, it's time. It's time for you to deal with your mama drama. It's time for you to deal with your brother's bull. It's time for you to heal and move on, because every bit of these bits of trauma that has happened from your childhood to your early adulthood, it is affecting the man that you are today, and it is smothering you. Jeremiah shows up at the barbershop and he is smoking and being disrespectful, and y'all, I was watching in complete and utter disgust because I absolutely hate cigarette smoke. I hate cigarettes, and I hate when people try to do it around me. When I tell you I would have lost my entire mind if that was my barbershop, because absolutely the hell not. And then when they tell you to put the cigarette out or step out, you tell them F them. You tell them no. Who in the hell do you think you are? Dirt McGirt? Crusty McCrustin? Like, don't get handled. And to me, like, this is a shout out to Devale and his performance, because I think that he did a really nuanced job when it came to Jeremiah entering that barbershop. And you saw him have this bravado, you saw him have this confidence while talking to Tony and Nathan and, you know, listening to Mr. Tyrone. But as soon as his brother came in and he was face to face with his brother, you could see a lowering of status for him. And I'm like, that's an actor right there. I see it, Devale. I peep it, and we're gonna go ahead and give you your flowers, boo-boo, because the nuance of creating a physical manifestation of what their relationship looks like and how Zac feels in that relationship, it was so present for me on Devale's body, played out in Zac. And unfortunately, Jeremiah kind of corners him, puts him on the phone with his mama, and then threatens him like, yo, you need to go see mama. You need to go see mama today. F you and mama. You talking about F everybody who's talking about get out from the cigarettes. F you and F mama. But also, like, I also want Zac to go and confront it, because I need him to heal. I need him to go ahead and get through it. Jeremiah gotta go. Now, while Zac is dealing with Jeremiah and Nathan at the barbershop, Fatima is coming across a nail in her tire. Her tire is flat, and then she is meeting the contractor with the light eyes and the smooth voice, who is willing to help her because he can get it done. Y'all ain't hear him. He could get it done, y'all. Listen here, I am so excited to see this actor into the Sisters universe, i.e. with Zatima, because I loved Tammy Roman's House of Vicious, and he plays Tammy's husband, or Tammy's character's husband on there, but he is a F-boy if I ever seen one. And I'm like, I can't like you, I can't fall for you because you're a F-boy. But on here, he's not giving that, and now I can sop up all of his fineness and charm with a biscuit. Let me get back to the episode, because that's not what y'all here for, right? It's the lead up to like Fatima meeting Paul for me, because it's one thing for like Paul is going to fix her tire, leave the car there, he got it, he going to take care of it, he got a homeboy, boppity boop, all authentic parts, yada yada. And Paul, don't think we ain't noticed how you completely ignored the fact that she said she had a fiance. Like, he didn't even acknowledge it. She said, I'll get my fiance to help me. He was just like, oh no, or you could just leave it here and I got it. Because I gets it done. You ain't hear me the first time. But again, the bigger part for me from this scene was the lead up to it and the conversation that Fatima was having with Angela. They have a whole conversation about how Fatima is an independent woman, how she keeps her expectations low so that she doesn't get disappointed or let down, and that has been working for her thus far, which ultimately just points to, girl, you are not giving yourself fully to this relationship, so you'll never really be happy. And it's given that you settled, Fatima. Honestly, it's given that Zac is good enough for you to be able to maintain a certain level of independence, but also without getting a little bit too hurt. And girl, that's not actually love. And that's damn sure not falling in love. I watched her have this conversation with Angela, and I was just like, ooh, Fatima, baby, we thought that you was healed, honey, but this is not healed at all. You might need a little extra time. And Lord knows all of the stress and the drama that Zac is putting you through by way of all the skeletons in his closet is not going to help. I get it. So I'm not faulting her for not feeling safe. I'm not faulting her for not relinquishing her independence in certain areas. I am kind of faulting her for keeping this ideology in reference to it being the gold standard when, girl, no, this is your survival mechanism. Let's call a thing, Fatima. This is your survival mechanism, boo, and it's not going to serve you to have a healthy and happy marriage, go on to have healthy, happy, progressive kids. Like, it is going to stunt your relationship, your growth, and your ultimate happiness if this is what you believe and this is what you actually want to adopt. Like, the girl actually said she's going to stay independent because she don't want to give that up to be and then have to be submissive and then be cooking and cleaning. And then Angela's like, girl, you do that anyway, but I do it because I want to. You don't want him to know that you need him, or you don't want him to think that you need him, so that you don't ever have to worry about when you need him not showing up. Girl, like, we need a therapist on line 3 ASAP, because just to unpack all of that, I would need another video. However, it was giving big red flags for me. It was giving Fatima might not actually be happy in this relationship, and it's giving big I settled energy. And I wonder if we're going to explore that a little bit more this season. All right, y'all, those were the major points of episode 1 from season 2, titled Basic Instinct of Tyler Perry's Zatima, now streaming on BET Plus. I'm your good sis, you let it talk TV with. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, hit that like button because I know that you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed already, honey, what are you waiting for? Press the subscribe button. We as friends, join the tribe. I think you're gonna love it here. We have dope conversations, as you can tell. And now I'm headed to the comment section to see what you thought about episode 1. Let's keep the conversation going down there, and I'll see you in the breakdown for episode 2.